As I approached the grocery store, little did I know that a seemingly routine shopping trip would soon turn into a heart-pounding chase. A woman named Karen, fueled by entitlement and a lack of empathy, pretended she's disabled and stole my handicap scooter right from under me. Determined to reclaim what was rightfully mine, I embarked on a race against time to put an end to her audacious act. Here's how it all went down. Navigating the grocery store's parking lot, I mentally prepped for my shopping trip. My handicap scooter, more than just a mode of transportation, was a tangible reminder of my invisible disability. Without it, even the simplest tasks like grocery shopping could turn into daunting challenges. As I readied my scooter for use, I couldn't help but notice a woman nearby. Karen, as she later introduced herself, exuded an air of entitlement. It was hard to miss, from the way she wore her oversized sunglasses to her confident, almost arrogant posture. Karen walked over, her steps slow and measured. "Man," she started, pressing a hand against her back and wincing, "I've done something to my back again. This store is huge, and I can't imagine walking through the whole thing feeling like this." Feeling a bit of sympathy, I said, "That sounds rough. Back pain can be a nightmare." She looked over at my scooter for a moment, then back at me. "You think I could use your scooter today? You seem like you're in better shape than me." I was a bit taken aback. "I get that, but I really need the scooter. It's for my disability." She frowned, a mix of frustration and pain on her face. "Look, I'm really struggling here. Can't you just help me out with this once?" The moment was still fresh when Karen made her move. She quickly jumped onto my scooter, completely ignoring her claimed back pain. The scooter started up and she began moving fast towards the store. "I'll be back soon! Find me inside when you're done!" she shouted, acting like it was no big deal. I couldn't believe what was happening. My heart raced, and my mind struggled to process it. "Hey, stop! That's mine!" I yelled, starting to chase her. But Karen seemed to have no idea how to drive the scooter properly. She was dodging cars in the parking lot, going left and right, nearly hitting a couple of them. She was obviously not used to driving one, but she was stubborn. "I already told you," she huffed, trying to keep the scooter under control. "I really need it today. It's just for a bit." Around us, people were starting to notice. Some were just standing there, watching the chaos unfold. Others started talking to each other, pointing at us. A couple of younger folks even pulled out their phones, probably thinking this could go viral. I was trying to keep up, weaving through the cars and the people, feeling a mix of anger and disbelief. The scooter wasn't just a vehicle for me. It was my lifeline in places like this. It wasn't about just getting around. It was about being able to live a bit more normally despite my challenges. And now, someone was just riding away with it, like it was theirs to take. With every step, I became more determined. I wasn't going to let Karen just get away with this. Gasping for breath, and my mind racing as much as my heart, I was trying to figure out my next move. Just then, Mike, a familiar face from the store, jogged over. He'd always been kind during my visits, offering assistance whenever I needed it. Noticing the panic in my eyes and the empty spot where my scooter usually sat, he asked, "What happened? Is everything all right?" I tried to keep my voice steady as I pointed towards Karen, who was now attempting to blend in by browsing the produce aisle, still aboard my scooter. She just jumped on and took it," I managed to say, trying to keep my emotions in check. Without wasting a moment, Mike headed towards Karen with determination. "Ma'am," he called out firmly, ensuring she heard him, "that scooter isn't store property. You need to give it back." Karen, perhaps not expecting to be confronted, looked up, feigning confusion. Reverting back to her pained act, she gripped her back, moaning, "I was in pain and assumed it was one of the store's scooters. I need it." Mike, never one to be easily fooled, replied, "We have scooters for customers if you need one. But you can't just decide to take someone else's. It's not right." Karen awkwardly stepped off the scooter, looking around as if hoping the ground would swallow her whole. With every eye in the parking lot on her, the weight of her actions seemed to finally hit her. Whispers spread among the small crowd that had gathered, each person trying to piece together the spectacle they had just witnessed. I made my way to my scooter, taking a moment to ensure it wasn't damaged or tampered with. "Really appreciate the backup, Mike," I told him, grateful for his timely intervention. He simply nodded, his usual friendly demeanor now shadowed by a slight frown, probably disappointed by the whole scene. Facing Karen, I took a deep breath before saying, "You could have just asked the store for help or even approached me politely. Taking someone else's property isn't the answer. I rely on this scooter daily, and it's more important to me than you might realize." Karen, looking everywhere but into my eyes, mumbled a half-hearted apology. She then turned away, heading quickly toward the store, eager to escape the many watching eyes. I watched her disappear inside, shaking my head in disbelief. I then began my shopping, the weight of the encounter still heavy on my mind. It was one of those situations that remind you that everyday tasks can sometimes turn into unexpected challenges, but with the right support, they're manageable. Can't believe people like Karen exist. It's a good reminder to be grateful for what we have and to treat others with kindness. Kudos to the person who stayed calm throughout the whole ordeal. I never thought that uninviting a girl from my boyfriend's birthday party would lead to the unraveling of our relationship. It all started with a sense of unease, a lingering suspicion that something was off. Little did I know, my actions would set in motion a chain of events that would leave me questioning everything. Here's how it all went down. Our apartment was the kind of place filled with mismatched furniture from various garage sales, photo memories taped to the fridge, and that one plant by the window that I always forgot to water but somehow still survived. 8 years with Ryan had filled this space with loads of laughter, some heated arguments over which pizza toppings to get, and countless lazy Sunday mornings. While I was out chasing squirrels with my camera for that perfect shot, Ryan was delving into some intense school stuff. To be honest, I never quite got the whole theories he sometimes discuss. But hey, whatever floats his boat. Our life was pretty chill, predictable in a comforting way. We had our inside jokes, favorite takeout places, and series that we'd binge watch till 3 a.m. But then Ryan's new training course happened. Suddenly there was this girl, Elise, popping up in our convos way more than our pizza debates. I couldn't help but feel that our usual rhythm was slightly offbeat, and I was about to find out just how much. I stared at Ryan as he excitedly shared yet another story about that girl from his class. His deep-set hazel eyes, which used to meet mine across the room filled with warmth, now seemed distant. Was I being too paranoid? You know, she's actually a good person, just has a lot going on, Ryan mused, reclining in our shared couch. She had this breakdown during a presentation in class last week. It was painful to watch. She was crying, trying to catch her breath, the whole thing. I ran my fingers through my long brown hair, trying to act nonchalant. That sounds tough. What happened? Well, he sighed. I approached her afterward. Thought maybe she could use some help for the next one. Turns out she's got severe anxiety, and there's more to it. He hesitated for a second, then continued. She told me about her past, about the abuse from her brother, and how her family never believed her. It's heartbreaking. I took a deep breath, trying to digest this. That's really sad, I said gently. But isn't it strange that she told you all this? I mean, you've just known her for a short while. Ryan frowned slightly. She probably felt she could trust me, you know? Sometimes you just need someone to open up to. The days passed, and I tried not to let my rising unease get the better of me. But then, one evening, the doorbell rang. Ryan opened the door to reveal the girl. She was undeniably beautiful, with long, wavy blonde hair and piercing blue eyes that seemed to scan the room cautiously. Jenna, this is Elise, Ryan introduced. Elise's gaze fixed on me, and she offered a hesitant smile. It's nice to finally meet you. You're so much more beautiful than what Ryan describes. I raised an eyebrow, glancing at Ryan for a second. Thank you, Elise, I said with a cautious smile. And he's so lucky to have you, she added, her eyes darting between Ryan and me. I felt a weird shiver run down my spine. There was something about her compliments that seemed off. A week later, Ryan was enthusiastically planning his birthday party. He suddenly turned to me. I was thinking of inviting Elise, too. She doesn't have many friends around. I hesitated, my mind racing. Ryan, I don't know. Given her history, do you think it's a good idea? A party might be too overwhelming for her. But Ryan was adamant. She'll be fine. I'll make sure of it. I sighed, hoping against hope that this wouldn't turn into a night we'd all regret. A couple of days before the party, while Ryan was in the shower, his phone buzzed with an incoming call. Figuring it might be something urgent, I picked it up. It was Elise. Hey, it's Elise. I was wondering about the dress code for the party. She hesitated, her voice timid. I'm really looking forward to it. I took a deep breath, the words spilling out before I could really think them through. Look, Elise, I think maybe it's best if you skip this one. I'm concerned. What if you get overwhelmed and have a panic attack? It's not the right environment for you. She was silent for a second, and I took that as an invitation to continue, my emotions running high. And honestly, I find it a bit odd how quickly you've gotten close to Ryan, sharing such personal details. It's intense. I cringed inwardly as I added, traumatic experiences are tough, but it doesn't give anyone a pass to, I don't know, maybe overstep boundaries? I could feel the weight of my words, knowing that I'd gone further than I should have. Elise's voice trembled as she replied, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cause any problems. The call ended soon after, and true to her word, she didn't show up at the party. Fast forward a bit, and Ryan seemed off. He finally shared that Elise had grown distant, skipping classes, and he even caught her crying one day. When he tried to approach her, she just hurried away. I don't know, babe, he said, a frown creasing his forehead. I feel like I might have upset her somehow. I sighed. I didn't necessarily regret protecting our space and setting boundaries, but the way I had done it, yeah, it stung. It wasn't just about how Elise felt, but the wedge it was slowly driving between Ryan and me. After contemplating the best approach, I decided to confront Ryan with the truth about my conversation with Elise. His reaction was nothing short of devastated. He looked at me with a mix of disbelief and sadness, saying, after everything we've been through, how could you? He then shared a deeply personal story about his aunt, which provided context to why he was so compassionate toward Elise. He emphasized, "Our bond has always been strong. 8 years is not a small amount of time, and I hoped you'd trust me more." The gravity of my actions weighed heavily on me, especially when I learned that no one could reach Elise. She was unreachable, both in person and over the phone. A chilling fear gripped me, contemplating the potential consequences of my harsh words. As the days passed, Ryan expressed a need for space. The next thing I knew, he called to end our relationship. He revealed that he had plans to propose, making the situation even more heartbreaking. Despite my attempts to reason with him, hoping for understanding and another chance, he felt our trust was irreparably broken. I'm in a state of introspection now, processing the ramifications of my actions. While my mother offers solace, my sister is more candid, urging me to acknowledge my mistakes. I deeply regret my actions and wish I could rectify the situation. For now, all I can do is hope for some semblance of resolution in the future. It's definitely true that open and honest communication is key in any relationship, especially when it comes to addressing concerns and boundaries. If there was time for a deeper conversation with her ex-boyfriend about her concerns regarding their friendship, they might have been able to find a better understanding and avoid this unfortunate outcome. In the end, clear communication can often prevent misunderstandings and strengthen trust. I never imagined that a misplaced envelope would shatter my trust, ignite rumors, and tear apart a 2-year relationship. Accusing my then-boyfriend of stealing $846 unleashed a hurricane of chaos that engulfed our lives. Now, as I prepare to face the consequences of my colossal mistake, I must share the harrowing tale of betrayal, heartbreak, and the quest for redemption. Here's how it all went down. It's always been hard for me to trust, given the betrayals I've faced in the past. The walls I built to protect myself were high, often too high. So when I withdrew a significant sum of money recently, my paranoia knew no bounds. I thought I had found the perfect hiding place, a chest of drawers in my room. Sam and I had been dating for 2 years. We had our ups and downs, but there was always a mutual respect. Little did I know, my trust issues would soon put our bond to the ultimate test. So I had this moment of, oh no, when I realized I couldn't find the $846 I'd withdrawn. I mean, that's not pocket change. With a mix of hope and worry, I started rummaging through my chest of drawers, thinking maybe I'd tucked the envelope away there. Even though I tried to stay calm, every empty drawer cranked up my anxiety. That envelope, with my not-so-perfect handwriting and the bank receipt, just seemed to have vanished. Talk about a facepalm moment. I retraced my steps, racking my brain for any hint of where I might have left the money. Could it have slipped somewhere? Did I misplace it? Living with Sam, my thoughts naturally turned to him, not out of suspicion, but simply because we shared the space. "Sam, have you seen the envelope?" I asked, my voice laced with worry. "It's just, I can't find it anywhere, and you're the only other person here." There was a momentary flash of hurt in Sam's eyes, a sting of unintended implication. I hadn't meant to accuse, but in the tension of the moment, my words may have carried more weight than intended. His eyes flared, instantly catching the underlying suspicion. "Are you seriously implying I took it?" Sam snapped, his voice rising. I could feel my defenses go up, matching his tone. "I'm just trying to figure things out, Sam. The money didn't just walk away." He threw his hands up in frustration. "So every time something goes wrong in this house, it's on me? Really mature. Sam, you're the only other one here." I shot back, the worry about the money now tangled with the anger from the brewing argument. He pointed a finger at me. "You need to check your trust issues before throwing baseless accusations." "That's not fair, and you know it! All I did was ask a damn question." Sam's face tightened, anger evident in every line. "Maybe you should ask yourself why the first place your mind goes is to doubt me." He swiftly grabbed his keys, storming out of the apartment with a forceful slam of the door that echoed in the chilling silence left behind. As the days went by, the situation became murkier. Friends and family got involved. "He must have taken it," they whispered, fueling my doubts. Who else could it be? I let the voices around me amplify my mistrust, and as a result, I let my relationship with Sam crumble. The worst part? I broke up with him. 2 beautiful years, evaporated in the cloud of my doubt. It wasn't until my chest of drawers broke and I decided to fix it that the truth unfolded. Hidden in a gap at the back of the drawer was the envelope, my missing money. It had slipped unnoticed, becoming the catalyst for the turmoil that followed. Guilt washed over me as the realization hit. I had let my insecurities and trust issues tear apart not just my relationship, but also Sam's reputation. I had blocked him, shut him out without giving him a chance. Now, I'm left with the heavy task of amending my mistakes. I reached out to Sam, hoping against all odds he listens. And then, I'll tell everyone the truth. An apology seems small for the hurricane of pain I've inflicted, but it's a start. His response was swift. We have to meet in person to talk about this. The curt tone of his message was evident. The virtual world wouldn't suffice for a conversation of this magnitude. Face-to-face was the only option. I couldn't blame him. After all, my accusations had not been whispered but yelled, tarnishing his reputation in the process. It's not about seeking validation or a pat on the back for coming clean. No amount of words could ever justify the path of destruction I left in my wake. Nor am I trying to rekindle the lost flame or wedge myself back into Sam's life. I just hoped to mend a fraction of the heartbreak with a sincere apology. Then came the showdown in the park with Sam. We picked our old favorite bench, and man, you could have cut the tension with a knife. I took a deep breath. Sam, I messed up. Big time. He looked at me, eyes fiery with a mix of hurt and anger. You think? Our conversation was a roller coaster. There were moments when our voices raised, the old wounds reopened, and raw emotions surfaced. But the real punch in the gut, watching tears streak down Sam's face. You have no idea how much you hurt me, he choked out. I want us to be friends, he finally said, voice hoarse. I looked at him, stunned. Seriously, after all this drama? He nodded. Yeah, it sounds crazy, but maybe it's our way to heal, to find some closure. Look, the thought of rekindling things with Sam? Not happening. That boat sailed. And yeah, I did jump into a new relationship pretty fast, but hey, life's weird and unpredictable. As for Sam and our history, I recognize I screwed up big time. Now my focus is on becoming a better, more understanding version of myself. All these experiences, especially with Sam, have taught me volumes about human emotions, the consequences of our actions, and how intricate relationships can be. Trust is indeed a crucial element in any relationship, and maintaining open and calm communication is key to resolving conflicts. If both parties had remained calm and discussed their concerns, perhaps this entire situation could have been avoided. It serves as a reminder that trust requires patience, understanding, and a willingness to listen to each other's perspectives. If you enjoyed today's stories, check out the other videos on your screen now. Submit your own stories at you'rethejerk.com. Subscribe now, or you're definitely the jerk.